and then it's like, I don't think I want to do all that. In remembering that, you're like, oh, I didn't like that feeling even more than I don't like this discomfort right now. And that's why I should keep going, because whoever accepts guidance does so for his own good. Whoever strays does so at his own peril. No soul will bear another's burden, nor do we punish until we have sent a messenger. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Peace be upon you. Hi. Hello, how are you? Welcome to my channel where we talk about Islam, psychology, and just life in general, all with a faith-based perspective. And I hope you'll stay a while, but if you're passing through, that's okay too. And let's get into the video. So for today's video, I wanted to talk about giving up and what it entails, how we can overcome it, and just the different mindset shifts required to get past wanting to give up, and once you have possibly given up, because failure is a reality, and failure is something that is inevitable within our processes and journeys we take into accomplishing our goals. And I think a harsh reality that a lot of us face is that we're not used to failing or acknowledging and recognizing failure, and if we do, we internalize it and we make it a personal, this is me, I'm a horrible person, and we take it as though this is all of our character, all of who we are and who we are made to be, and that's just not the truth. And I think a lot of that can come from internalizing and negative self-talk and how we have been raised, because our environments and who we surround ourselves with are reflections, and inevitably builds up this internal dialogue that we have and communicate with ourselves. And that could be from our parents, our friends, our communities, so on and so forth. And there's a lovely hadith that I'll put right here that exemplifies that who we are around can either be of large benefit or can cause us great harm. And the use of scent here is a wonderful example, because scent is something that stays on us. Whether or not we can get accustomed to the scent, we don't even recognize that it's there anymore after a while. Whether it's a horrible scent or a positive scent, we don't even recognize that it's there anymore. And over time, other people can smell it on us and like, whoa, that person smells a little something slight, or this person smells wonderful. What is this, scent going on? And so I really enjoyed this hadith, and it is something that I've heard a lot, but it's really true and applicable, because subconsciously, the things that we do here, the way things are internalized within media, or our environment, really ultimately do have an impact on how we talk to ourselves and how we view ourselves. And so if you have been in a state of wanting to give up and you feel as though, woe is me and I'm just not built for this, or I'm not ready to embark upon this goal, I urge us to continue, and so we can change that self-talk and hopefully continue on with our goals. And so the first thing I wanted to talk about is being mindful and being present. And I know this may seem a little bit silly when talking about giving up, because obviously you're doing the work and you feel like you're not maybe getting an outcome, or maybe you're just tired and you feel like, I'm just tired, I'm going to go to sleep and I'm not going to do anything. But in being mindful and present, I also urge within that to remember why. And the remembering why is about the mindfulness, because when we're doing our goals and we are, struggling through and entering in these new spaces and habits and schedules that we're not used to, that makes us so uncomfortable, we start to revert back to our old ways, and we're like, this does not feel good, I don't like this. And we have a lot of fear associated with doing these tasks because we don't like the way it makes us feel. And that's why I was talking about remembering why in the first place, because human beings, we need reminders, because we do forget a lot. It is so easy for us to forget the why we started our goals in the first place, why we set them. And if you remember how you were feeling that led you to even set that goal in the first place, if you are constantly seeing other people accomplish a goal that you know you can accomplish, if it's going back to school, whether it's getting that job or starting that business, or just even eating healthier and exercising, getting back to yourself, finding new hobbies, whatever it may be, when we see these constant reminders around us, we're like, wow, I don't like this because I know I can do it too. And it's not to say that there's jealousy, for some people there may be, and InshaAllah, work through that. But with those feelings that may be associated with seeing other people do these things, or even just being reminded of what you used to be or the things you used to do. So in remembering the way you felt when you would see these things, or even just be at those low points, and you have to remember that in those moments where you want to give up, because in remembering that, you're like, oh, I didn't like that feeling even more than I don't like this discomfort right now. And that's why I should keep going. And that's why even for myself, I want to start writing things down and start writing down what has that led me to make these goals in the first place. Because you get so far, and Allah is helping you, Allah is facilitating these goals for you and creating a stage for you to embark upon this new journey. And then it's like, I don't think I want to do all that. Like, all that looks a little scary. All that looks very scary, actually. I don't think I want to embark upon that anymore. It was just a prank. I was just joking. And so we can literally, cause a lot of self-sabotage for ourselves. So that's why for myself, and also hopefully for you all, just writing it down, maybe having a voice note, and also setting reminders. I think also with the new year, something that people do is having vision boards around, or just having little sticky notes and things all around their rooms, their phones, and whatever is most applicable and accessible to you is really ideal and leads to that return to state of self, as opposed to overthinking the discomfort in the moment, because you remember what you want and why you want it and how you want to feel. You remember a lot about why you wanted to do something, and you remember who you want to be and why you set these goals in the first place. And that's just ultimately super important and super valuable, not as a tool to harm yourself or to take you back to that negative space, rather as a tool to remind you to continue to propel forward. So my next point is how giving up primarily harms us. It harms ourselves more than it can harm other people around us, because if we're in the same environments, if we keep doing the same things that we've always been doing, these people may be continuing to benefit, or they may continue to degrade us, whatever your environment is. And I pray the best for you, InshaAllah. But you are staying stuck and only continuously reinforcing those negative patterns when you give up. And in the long run, it'll only be you to be held accountable for your actions. It'll only be you that is sitting there, feeling lesser than, because it's a harsh reality that a lot of us do feel like success is tied to our self-worth, and InshaAllah we can separate those two, because our self-worth is inherent and is based upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are intrinsically worthy of love and acceptance and mercy, because that's how Allah created us. And the only caveat for that is that we continue to be believers and we continue to strive in the way of Allah. Even then, Allah is so merciful. So in taking those steps to remember that Allah is doing all these things for me, Allah wants the best for me, Allah also is fair. Allah is all-knowing and He is just in everything that He does. So when you decide to harm yourself, it is because Allah has given that free will to you to make the choice of saying, I want to stay stuck in this spot because it's comfortable, because it's what I'm used to. But know that you're only hurting yourself. And when, InshaAllah, and if we're given more life and given another day to see the effects of us giving up and staying stuck, that's why we enter those cycles of, I set this goal but I didn't accomplish it, I set this other goal, I didn't accomplish it. And then we constantly don't feel better than our previous selves, because we're not doing anything to break the cycle. Famous quote that says, insanity is doing the same thing over and expecting a different result. If you're constantly doing the same exact thing and you think something will change or something will be different or someone else will get you out of that, Allah has given you ability, Allah has given you strength and the resources to even look up how to get to those goals, or the resources to find people who can help you out, because you don't have to do it all yourself. And that's another really important thing, because in trying to accomplish our goals, maybe you need an accountability partner to help you, remind you. And maybe the accountability partner could be someone who also wants to accomplish the same goal as you, so you guys can work towards that. It could be a trusted friend or family member, or whoever it is for you. And just remembering all those resources, and that Allah is always giving us mercy and always bestowing blessings upon us, can remind us that we're not alone in this. You're not alone in your goals and what you want to achieve. So don't give up, because again, it'll be you at the end of the day, and it'll be you on the day of judgment that's held accountable for your good deeds or your sins or whatever you do, your actions overall. It'll be you individually. No one can intercede for another person. No one can intercede for any of us on the day of judgment. And so when you stand before Allah and you're asked to explain why you did this, and this, or why you didn't take advantage of the blessings and mercy and resources that He provided to you, it'll only be on you, and Alhamdulillah, I pray that Allah grants us Jannat Firdaus and that we are all, granted all that is best in the hereafter. But it's now and the stuff that we do now that prepares us and allows for us, InshaAllah, to reach that spot and where we ultimately want to be. So don't neglect in the work that you also have to put in. Don't neglect all the steps that you have to take so that you end up in the space and spot that you want to spend eternity in. And that's why I said that giving up primarily in the long run affects us the most, because we will be the ones punished, and I don't want to be punished, and I'm sure you don't want to be punished either, like alhamdulillah. And even in small stuff like how we spend our money and our resources, all these things that we just don't think twice about, they all add up, and my next point is self-confidence comes from keeping the promises and vows that we hold to ourselves. It ties into the last point that I just made, but when you do something that you said you're going to do, or you're able to accomplish that goal that you've had for a long time, you feel really good. You feel like, wow, I can actually do this, and you build up that self-esteem, and you are able to look back and say that, wow, Allah has allowed me to facilitate this, and when I put in the work and I put in the effort, I can do this thing. Well, like, even for following a recipe, you're like, wow, okay, this tastes good, like, I actually can cook a little bit. Or maybe it's, you know, exercising one time and you stay to your goal, you're like, wow, I feel refreshed, I feel so, like, just healthy, well, like, I'm just on it. You really big yourself up, and alhamdulillah, we really are able to see the good in the things that we do. And even in moments where it is hard to keep going, we are like, wow, even if I'm having a bad day, I'm still doing what I said I wanted to do. Like, I'm so proud of myself, mashallah. I'm really striving and continuously moving forward with this, and that is confidence. That's where the confidence comes from. And I know that, you know, self-confidence can be applied to relationships and things like that, but in setting boundaries, if your goal is to set boundaries for yourself, it doesn't always have to be tangible goals. If your goal is to set boundaries, like, wow, I stood up for myself, I said what I wanted to say, and I said, like, no, I won't take that, or this is what I need, and you feel relieved because you're not holding in those burdens, and you're not, you know, allowing your body to feel those different effects that, you know, holding in stress and hardship can have on you. Because the alternate and the other side is that you feel more stress, you possibly having that negative self-talk of, wow, I can't believe I didn't do it again. Like, none of that is beneficial. Remembering ultimately that this all comes from Allah, and that Allah is one giving and bestowing that to us, and alhamdulillah, He is giving us that will to continuously accomplishing our goals. When we do something and it makes us feel good, that's a mercy from Allah, because that feeling is not a necessary thing that Allah had to give us to feel, but it's something there to, you know, act as that motivation and that continuous support to say, wow, if I get up early, I feel good, like, oh, I haven't made my tea, I'm sitting here reading my book, I am really on my stuff, mashallah. And you have that healthy sense of self-confidence that Allah is there for you, and Allah is how you see Him to be, and He is right there guiding you and helping you along achieving your goals. And so for my last point, after you make those strides and you do the difficult things and you have developed your goals and you set those different intentions and so on and so forth, there comes a time, which a lot of us reach, like I had mentioned in the beginning of the video, where we're tired. We are fatigued, you know. You just don't know where these things are going to fit into your schedule, and you're like, why would I keep doing this? Because I am tired and I don't want to do this anymore. So in doing that and in feeling those types of ways, I think that's where refining your goals comes in, and that's where adjusting the schedule that you do have and the day-to-day goals you do have comes in. Because maybe it's not feasible, maybe you overshot a little bit. That's not bad, that's not horrible. Having those failures and seeing those points of weakness allow for you to build a stronger foundation. Take those different perspectives and viewpoints and say, this didn't work, but what is something from here that I felt rejuvenated by, or something that actually did help me, and how could I cultivate a better experience for myself? And also, in not achieving your goals, don't set goals that you have no control over. Because yes, there is a possibility that you reach those goals because, you know, that's like how the trends are, the patterns are of whatever you may be doing, but in setting goals that are out of your control, you may feel like you're not accomplishing anything, but what you do have control over is your own actions. So for example, I'll use YouTube, because I've heard it a lot of times, people are like, I want to get to 1 million subscribers, I want to have like 10,000, 100,000 subscribers, but you have no control over that. What you do have control over, which typically leads to those avenues of success, is posting consistently. You are able to, you know, have those, today I'm going to do this type of scripting for this video, I'm going to do this, I'm going to edit on this day, so on and so forth. These are the things that Allah has given us control over. But saying that I want to reach this amount of subscribers by next month, like, by the color of Allah, it is possible, and I don't want to neglect in saying that things aren't possible, but you don't have control over that outcome. You only have control over what you can do, you know. So yes, you can post every single day or live stream or do whatever it may be in hopes that you get there, but you don't control how many people click that button. And I just wanted to say that because it's also applicable for other things in life. Like with work, you do have control over how many hours you can work, you know, in most cases. So if you want to get that overtime, wonderful, but that's in your control. Try to remember whether or not it's within your scope of reach, you know, because you can apply to schools and you can, you know, do everything you can, but ultimately the decision is within Allah. The same is true for relationships and health and things like that. You can only do everything you can, but Allah is the one that gives us these things. So make dua and be intentional and readjust. And that's what I was saying before. So if you see that your goals aren't always in your control, if you can't really control how someone perceives you, what can you control? You can control who you are around, and so on and so forth. So in doing that, we can edit our goals and continue to strive in this new year, and also just in general with life, and have those continuous goals and be able to move forward with them and not give up on ourselves within your day-to-day life. And don't try to be unreasonable with yourself in the hopes that you can just give up right away, because sometimes we do that. We self-sabotage sabotage. I urge you to believe and trust that Allah will provide for you, and Allah wants to provide for you and has given you the resources to do so. Because if Allah has given you the desire for it and has allowed you to make the dua for it, Allah answers our duas, and Allah tells us He answers our duas. Maybe it's not always in the way that we want it to be, but it's in the way that is best for us. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know I was kind of, talking a lot, but inshallah it was of benefit. Please do leave a comment down below and make sure to subscribe and tell me what other topics you'd like me to talk about. That would be really, really, really helpful. Yes, please do. I really appreciate all those who have commented and taken the time to share their experiences or how these videos have, prompted them to feel or think. And I really appreciate it. I pray that Allah rewards us and keeps us all in the best of health and iman. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bye.